Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here, and welcome to Thursday's edition of the dceu Daily. So there's no big news coming out, but there was a big kickoff on Twitter between a fan and David F. Sandberg, and James Wan even got involved. Now this is to do with a lack of a second or third trailer. Now I tell you what, I'm a dceu fan. I love the passion of my fellow dceu fans, but some of them are very embarrassing. And this guy, Avesh Motani, is an embarrassment. And I've noticed when I click onto his tweet, which I'm going to read to you in a minute, it says failed to load tweet, which probably means he's deleted it. But let's have a look at what he said. Pony Smasher, Shazam releases on 5th of April. It's less than 2 months now, and we have yet now received the Shazam proper trailer. Every time we fans ask you for the trailer, you give a savage and sarcastic reply and change the topic. Aquaman released 3 trailers. I don't know. What's the problem? So what was wrong with what Avesh said? Well, basically everything. He says we haven't had an official trailer. He says every time we fans ask you for the trailer, you give a savage and sarcastic reply. Sarcastic, yes, sarcastically brilliant, but savage, no. David has been very polite, very fantastic. David F. Sandberg is a busy man. He doesn't have to reply to us. He doesn't have to talk to us. He does it because he's a nice man, and he's always been interactive and fantastic with DC fans. So, you know, when creatives are rude to fans, I'll call them out. But I'm sorry, Avash, you are totally bang out of order on this. We've had one trailer already. We've had TV spots. We've had little clips. We've had posters. We've had toys released. The marketing is everywhere for Shazam, but we are still 2 months out. Chill out. So would you like to see how James Wan responded? I know you already know, but you haven't seen my reaction to it yet, have you? But before you see what James Wan had to say, I suppose it would be a good idea for you to see what David F. Sandberg said. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? This is what David had to say. I just don't have any specific trailer updates that I can share with you at this point. All I can do is have fun with it or say nothing. Most of the time I do the latter, but like you say, the movie is almost here, and it's not like the marketing is going to slow down now. Very fair point, very respectful, very polite from David F. Sandberg. I thought he could have, really gone in on that fan, but of course he can't do that. He wants people to watch the movie. He doesn't want to turn people off. It's a big balance. I think it's important that the dceu creatives are on Twitter because a lot of bullshit and a lot of fakery is said about this franchise, and it's important for David F. Sandberg and people like James Wan to have a right to reply, and Patty Jenkins, because a lot of stuff that's said is totally wrong, and these people with their Twitters use it very intelligently. A great response by David F. Sandberg, but you're about to hear an even better one from James Wan. So this is what James Wan had to say in response to what the fans said and what David F. Sandberg already said. In fact, David F. Sandberg's tweet, which I've just read out to you, is a quote tweet from James Wan. So this is what James had to say, and it's quite brilliant. When the Aquaman trailer was held back till Comic-Con, people freaked out when the movie was pushed from October to December. People laughed. Oh, it's in trouble. DC doesn't know what it's doing. Yada, yada. When NPR dropped on our week, Aquaman is getting slaughtered, and so on and so on. So he does add a little bit more. When the trailer's extended one finally arrived, everyone was like, oh wow, you're showing too much. We've seen the whole movie, lol. But Pony Smasher, best thing you can do is ignore all the noise and distraction and focus on your project and do your best. That's all you can do. This is a brilliant show of support from dceu director to director, and it's not staged. It's absolutely brilliant. We know how genuine James Wan is. That is brilliant, because, and I love the sarcastic tone of what he said. when they release the 5-minute trailer and they say, oh, you're showing too much, we've seen the whole movie. You know, it's pathetic, isn't it, to think that a 5-minute trailer is the whole movie. How is that even possible? But in that context, I think what James Wan does brilliantly is get out of his system of what these DCEU haters say. But the point is, there are a lot of fake fans out there trying to spread negativity. There's YouTubers out there trying to spread negativity. So I think what David F. Sandberg responded to the fans' tweet was brilliant, but I think James Wan is a champion here, because not only does he defend his friend and colleague, he says it the way it is. The best thing is just focus on your project. In other words, don't bother talking to people. And that's a shame, isn't it? That is a shame, because it's great that we have this platform of Twitter and Vero where we can talk to creatives and get a response from them. But if we're going to be arseholes towards them, why should they talk to us? And this is exactly right. I've spoken about Lucasfilm before, and I think they've been disrespectful to fans at some points, but I have never heard of a DCEU director being rude to fans. To me, it's like Zachary Levi. He talks to fans a lot, but if fans are rude to him, he's not going to talk to them. He does Instagram live videos. He's great. Fans interact. There's a good chemistry there between Zach and the fans, and this is beautiful marketing for the film. There's so much different marketing for Shazam. The marketing's really, really good, but it's also not over the top. But when you get to 1 month away, then you'll probably get a final trailer and more TV spots and more posters and more toys. But what this fan's getting his knickers in a twist about, I really don't know. And I tell you what, I do applaud David F. Sandberg and James Wan for being to the point but restrained in their responses, because it's very important to understand something. A director has nothing to do with marketing. They might ask his or her advice on how the trailer should be edited, but ultimately the studio and the marketing decide how the film is advertised, because it's the studio who get to decide how the public perceive their film. And I think this is what was problematic about Man of Steel, and especially Batman v Superman, because they weren't commercial movies. It was very difficult to market them. So this is why I always said about Batman v Superman, they weren't honest about the type of film it was in the marketing. And this is why it was very controversial when the film was released. But if, like Logan, they were honest that it was a bit of an indie film, it would have made a lot more money, it would have crossed the $1 billion mark, and would have got a lot more respect from mainstream fans and mainstream critics as well. So there's nothing to worry about Shazam. There are no problems. They're not hiding anything apart from awesome reveals. That's all they're hiding. You will get your second trailer. You will get your third trailer. We are still 3 months away. And everyone, if you're going to talk to creatives online, unless they're rude to you, be polite. They don't have to talk to you. They don't have to respond to you. There is no law. There has to be 3 trailers before a movie is released. Yes, that's what happens these days. But at the end of the day, there's no law. They're not breaking any law by not doing it. You know, we've become too spoiled, too used to these big epic trailers that show us lots and lots of the movie. So what? We don't ever get any trailers. What if we actually go and watch the film and, you know, get surprised by all the things we see? But not this generation. Hey, we must have our trailers. We must have our teasers. We think we're marketing experts. We're not marketing experts. We know nothing about marketing. How dare you tell a director how to market? Does he tell you how to be an idiot? No. So very, very disappointing. All I can say is I apologise to David F. Sandberg. I apologise to James Wan. I feel embarrassed by the fan and his rudeness and his, ooh, where's all the trailers? Basically, the post was terrible, and I hope he feels guilty, and I hope that fan sees the responses from both directors and at least goes on Twitter, at them and actually apologises to at least David F. Sandberg, because I think, my friend, you do owe David an apology, because I don't think he's a bad man and I don't think he deserved what you gave him. There is no problem with the marketing. The marketing is awesome. Everywhere I look, there's posters, there's TV spots. We've already had one trailer. Calm down. It's not Warner Brothers' fault that people are lying on the dates on when these trailers are released. Nobody knows what's going on any longer. There are no leaks at WB. There's no leaks at DC. You can't handle that. That's your problem. You shouldn't have to be fed constant information about a film and trailers before it's released for you to stay interested. You know, I remember growing up in the 80s and the 90s, we had like one trailer. And, you know, I'd see it on the TV, it would be like 30 seconds. And I used to try and record it on VHS and I used to miss it and it was frustrating. That's what we got in those days. But Star Wars still made loads of money. The Superman movies made loads of money. Ghostbusters and all the other films we enjoyed as kids still made loads of money. So at the end of the day, in terms of marketing, it is marketing. But trailers are something that we've decided are part of the movie, part of the entertainment of the whole movie. And we sit there pulling the posters to pieces, pulling the trailers to pieces, reviewing posters. Pathetic. I might react to a trailer, but I'll tell you what, I will never review a poster. That for me, that's too far. Maybe I'll do unboxing one day. That could be fun. But reviewing posters, nah. A step too far. So my advice to every fellow DCEU fan, from me, from the heart, from a creative's point of view, creatives want to talk to you. You know, very famous people want to communicate with ordinary people because they live in a heightened sense of a bubble. They have no privacy. They can't leave their front doors half the time. So internet interaction with the ordinary consumer is brilliant for them. But don't take the piss out of them. Show them some respect. Show them the same respect they've shown you. They want to give you the best product. They want to give you the best movie. But don't be rude. Don't be demanding. And don't be self-entitled. Until the next time, we'll talk again on another DCEU Daily.